Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Today, we're going to be looking at how to create an absolutely killer, incredible brand name that your customers are going to go nuts for. So if you are interested in this sort of content, make sure you are subscribed with the notifications turned on. Let's get into the video straight away. Welcome if you are new here. Welcome back if you're not. My name is Jonny Bradley, founder of the Seller Pro Academy, where we help change people's lives one product at a time so ordinary people can create extraordinary things. And today we're going to be looking at how to create an absolute killer brand name, because it can take absolutely weeks to create and you never really know if it's going to be a good brand name. So in the next 10 minutes or so, I'm going to show you the strategies that I use when I come up with my brand names. So basically you can do it in a fraction of the time as well. Make sure, of course, that you are following me on all socials: Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. You know the deal, guys. You know the deal. Creating a brand name we know is very, very important. You guys know it, I know it. Brand names are so important because they represent a company, not just who they are, but what they stand for, what it sounds like, what it looks like. So brand names are so important. And if you come up with a really crappy brand name, it can really hurt your business, especially depending on what product or service that you sell. Before we actually go through any of the things I've got to go through today, the first thing you need to do is you need to shift your perspective from thinking about it as a business owner and shift yourself over to being a customer. Now, this is really important. A lot of people, and I've done this in the past, you'll think about, what does the brand name mean to you? Does it sound good, right? Does it roll off the tongue? Do you hear it and you fall in love with it automatically? All those things are your opinions. And at the end of the day, your opinion really doesn't mean shit, because your customers' opinions are the only ones that matter, because they're the people that are getting the money out of their pocket and actually paying you for your product or service. So the first thing you're going to need to do is take a moment just to shift that perspective. And once you do that, you're then able to create a brand that your customers can relate to rather than you can relate to. There's three real things you need to do before actually creating your company name, which we're going to go into a little bit later on today. There's three things you need to do. The first is you need to be able to analyze your competition. The second is you need to know and understand your vision. The third is understand your brand personality. So let's go over to the first one, which is analyzing your competition. Okay, now remember earlier I told you that you need to shift your perspective, because what often happens here is that you start thinking about your competition from your point of view, or who are my top competitors. So let's think about, for example, a restaurant, okay? Something very simple that everyone can kind of grasp. So a restaurant, an Italian restaurant. Oh, I love Italian. So you're coming up with an Italian restaurant, you might think, okay, so like, who's my competition? You're going to think, okay, I need to think of all the other Italian restaurants in the local area, and you're going to map them out and you're going to find out where they are and their selling points and their menus and stuff like that. And that's looking at competition from your perspective. However, what you need to do is look at it from the customer's perspective, because actually your competition is a whole lot bigger than that. Your competition is the burger joint around the corner. It's going to be Marks and Spencer and Tesco's and Subway and all the other options that customers have available to them, even eating at home and, you know, cooking their own food. So the first thing you need to do is understand your competition from your customer's perspective. What are their buying options? What are the things that they could buy that aren't necessarily even your product or service, but they still give them a similar sort of solution or a similar resolution to what you're offering them? So the first thing is map out your entire, or as much as you can, of your competition, and think about even things like, what are their names? What colors are their logos in? What sort of brand are they? Kind of luxury or fun or outdoors, whatever they may be, and really kind of analyze your competition. You don't have to do anything with it at the moment, but you just have to know kind of what your competition are actually, what they're actually doing, right? Because what you don't want to do is go into the market and copy them. You don't want to do something that's the same, because people won't, you can't stand out if you're the same as someone else. If all of your competition have green logos, right? And whatever, green logos, and they all start with the word "the," then you better make sure that your logo is not green, first of all, or similar to green even, and starts with "the," because you need to stand out, you need to differentiate yourself from the competition, and the only way to do that is understand it from the customer's perspective. The second thing you need to do, and you need to understand this before you actually create your your brand is you need to understand what your vision is. Now, if you haven't seen my video, and hopefully I've uploaded this by now, if you haven't seen my previous video about USPs don't exist, I'd really recommend going and watching that, because I talk about OESPs, owned emotional selling points, and this section here and that video really tie in quite well together. So I'd go and watch that video after you've watched this one. But understanding your vision is super, super important. Like, think about, what do you stand for? Right? What are the keywords? What are the buzzwords that you think of straight away? And quite often, people will come up with, integrity, quality, customer service, but they're too generic, right? Absolutely anyone could value customer service. Anyone can value integrity. However, they're not going to allow you to stand out. So you need to understand your vision. And what I like to do is finish this sentence, okay? Take your company, take your brand, and finish this sentence. We are here to create a world in which ... You finish the sentence, okay? We are here to create a world in which ... Finish the sentence, okay? And that means that you can really extrapolate that. You can make it a little bit longer, and that would be your value. That would be your vision. So I'll give you the vision for example, my training business, for Seller Pro Academy. You've already heard it today, right? You've already heard it today. I've said it in today's video. We are here to help change people's lives one product at a time, so ordinary people can create extraordinary things. That's the vision, right? That is the vision of what we're doing. And it's something that I communicate. Now, you don't have to communicate this, right? Create your vision, but you can just keep it internal. You can keep it as something you use as a filter when creating your brand name. You can use it as a filter when you're coming up with product ideas or packaging or services, or when you're doing customer support, you're training members of your team. You can use that as your vision, so everyone is aligned on the same goal. I choose to use it publicly because I think it's awesome. I think it's wicked. It's something I believe in, but you don't have to. And quite often companies won't share their vision as like that. What I would do is try and relate that vision into your OESP, which will be your tagline. Again, go and watch that video. I'll probably put a link down below. I'll put a little card thingy in the corner so you can go and check out that video as well. Really, really cool video. The third thing you need to do before you even start coming up with brand names is understand what kind of personality your brand is. Is it a fun brand? Is it a luxury brand? Is it an outdoor sports brand? Is it a quirky, cool, interesting brand? Is it a modern one? Is it a whatever it may be? You need to identify what kind of brand you are. And the good thing is that your name doesn't really have to align with it. However, something does have to align with it. Your brand in general does have to align with it. So I'm going to use Gucci as an example, okay? They obviously are a luxury fashion brand, right? We know that luxury, very expensive. However, their name does not sound luxurious whatsoever. You think it does because it's obviously been used as a luxury brand, but Gucci, when I think of the word Gucci, there's two things that come to mind. One, speaking to a baby, and the other is a little bit of between your, you know what I'm saying, right? And between my gentleman's melons and the other part. So the name itself, the brand name, is actually, it doesn't sound luxurious, okay? But the way that they position it within their branding, within everything that they do, it becomes luxurious. So what you have to kind of consider is that you're not going to be able to find the perfect name, right? The perfect name doesn't really exist because, first of all, if it did exist, it's probably already taken. But also, have you seen with someone like as huge as Gucci, you can't tick all the boxes. You can't have, okay, we're going to sound luxurious, we're going to look luxurious, and we're going to be luxurious. You can always make sure, you can always compensate with one with another, okay? But what you need to do is you always need to make sure you understand your competition, you understand what's out there, so you can stand out. Again, from the customer's perspective, you want to really know your vision about what you're trying to do, because that's going to help create your brand name and everything to do with your brand. And then finally, you need to understand your personality as a brand. What kind of brand are you? Okay, now once you've got these things, you have them written down. Okay, they don't have to be set in stone. This is really important. You can write them on post-it notes. You can write them on pieces of paper. You can write them on your notes on your phone. They don't have to be set in stone. This is really important. You can change the answers to these if you want to, as you're coming up with names and you're kind of trying to make it fit as best best you can. The next thing you're going to do is create a shortlist, okay? You're going to start coming up with ideas of names. There's lots of kind of tutorials and videos out there. They'll tell you it needs to have, be short, it needs to be memorable, it needs to be easy to spell, all that sort of stuff. And that is all true, okay? You do want it to be short and memorable, easy to spell, easy to pick up when you hear it, because at the end of the day, it's so annoying when someone tells you a brand name and they're like, oh yeah, you should go and like buy this product from this brand, and then you go to find it on your computer on your phone and you can't spell the damn thing, or it's too long and you don't remember the whole name of the company, and that's annoying. Companies will actually lose sales because of their name sometimes. So of course it needs to be short, as short as possible. It needs to be memorable, it needs to be different and unique, and all of those things, right? All of those things. But what you really need to understand is the perfect name really doesn't exist, okay? What often happens with business owners is they start coming up with names and they just like a name. They don't know why they like it, but they hear it and they like it. So what I want you to get away from is, rather than hearing a name and liking it, I want you to actually analyze why you like it and if customers will like it. And that's important. You could love a name, customers might hate it and it might not resonate with them. So understand that you might not get the perfect name. So create a short list, and what I like to do is split a page into two and come up with loads and loads and loads of just general ideas on the left hand side. Take some time off, have a little think about it, and then go back to it and basically optimize that list down into a short list of 10 or 20. And what you need to think about when you're doing this is, first of all, that it hits all those 3 points we spoke about earlier, but also think about it from the customer's perspective. What is it like when you first hear it, and what is it like when you hear it again? Because what happens is you need your brand name to stand out on the first time it's heard or seen, okay? The second time it's heard or seen, it needs to reinforce what your brand stands for. Now again, it's not going to be perfect. You might not hit the nail on the head here, but be aware of it. Be aware of this. So when you're thinking of these names and you're looking at them and you analyze them, what is it like when you first read it? And you can maybe show some people and you can ask what their opinion is. And the second thing is what it's like when it's seen a second time, a third time, a fourth time. What does it mean to you when you've seen it before? Okay, because you're going to have different perspectives depending on when you first see something to when you've seen it again. So after you've done that, you've got a short list, and maybe get this down to 5 or 10 different brand names. What you then need to do is you need to actually see if it's available. So there's a few things you need to do. So very, very simple. You can conduct a lot of these searches yourself, so you can make sure that the actual registered company name is available, or it's not being used already. Any trademarks that you might be infringing on, any domain names that you might want to get. So you might want to get the .com, .co.uk, that sort of stuff. And also if social handles are really important as well. So you want to make sure that you can get sort of a good social handle for it. Now those are kind of they're a search that you can do, but if you really want to go in depth and you pick one brand name that you think you absolutely love and you want to take it multinational, then of course make sure that the companies that you're going to sell in, it doesn't mean anything that's offensive. Make sure you can register in those countries as well. And if you really want to, it might be best to just hire a lawyer that can do in-depth searches, so you can actually double check and triple check that it is available for you, rather than you just doing the checks and probably maybe making a mistake. So guys, that's how you should come up with killer brand names. The first thing you need to do is shift your perspective from thinking about a brand name as a company, but from a customer's perspective. And then you're going to do those 3 things. You're going to analyze your competition. You're going to know what your vision is, a world in which blah, 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 blah. And then you're going to understand your personality. After you've done that, you can actually start creating company names, create a short list, make sure it's available, and then pick a winning brand name. If you have any questions about that, or you want to run any ideas by me, then let me know down in the comments. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you kind of smash that like button. If you've learned something new, again, hit that like button, leave any questions you do have. Make sure you're subscribed with your notifications turned on. And if you do want to understand this stuff in a little bit more detail, this is all covered in my 1 product strategy book, which you can get for free, just plus a bit of shipping and handling. Depending on when you watch this video, it might already be out. It's currently just on a waiting list, so check the links in the description and you'll be able to see the latest link if it is live or not. If it's not, you can just put yourself on the waiting list and I'll email you when it is live. If you'd like to run any brand names by me, then feel free to follow me on Instagram at Jonny Bradley UK. Send me a direct message and I'll give you my feedback on what I think about your brand name. And as always, remember, you're just one product away.